Okay, so we survived our first episode, and I guess now we're officially a podcast because we have 2 episodes now. We're official. We didn't get canceled by the Gen Zs out there. Welcome to Around the Mage Table, episode 2. Today's topic will focus heavily on affixes, but before we get into that, let's say hello to everyone. Let's start with Shani. How you doing today, Shani?
I'm amazing.
Glad to hear it.
Couldn't get better.
And what about you, Scrapclaw?
Doing good.
Just good. Okay, fair enough. And
Good.
what about Lithium? Lithium down there in your office that you're blurring out all the pornography on your wall.
I'm cold.
Oh yeah, I mean you had some snow, didn't you?
Yeah, we're getting snow tonight.
Are you? Damn.
Yep.
My
Maybe
daughter's
even
upset.
right
She
now.
really wants some snow.
I got
Oh, yeah.
lots of it.
Well, good. Glad to see everyone. We have a jam-packed episode today because not only do we have our topic of affixes, but we also have the 10.2.5 release, right? So let's just jump straight into it and talk about the news. 10.2.5 is out. Lots in it. I'm going to run through it real quick and you guys tell me whether you've done it, whether you enjoyed it, whether you even care. And that starts with, let's see, the new, not Dalaran, the new Night Elf capital city, Belemeth. Lithium, I
Where
think
is
you've done
that?
this.
Scrap.
What?
No, where is it? Where they put the capital city?
It's
Where's
Scrap,
that?
hold on, stop.
What?
Have you been paying any attention?
No, I haven't done any quests for like.
no.
2
Okay,
seasons.
okay. I was gonna say because this was like all about the raid, Scrap.
Well, did they put it in a mirror still?
Yes,
It's
it's
just
Oh,
a
I
middle
did
of
those
it.
quests.
No, it's just outside of a marriage or so.
Oh, did they put it on the tree?
Yes, just
right
like
in
No
front
way.
of it.
yeah.
They should cut the tree down and put it on it like Darnassus.
Off to a great start.
Wow.
Here comes another genocide.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I'll just say right off the bat, I haven't done any of this.
Yep, I think. Listen, you have though, right?
No,
Oh, I thought
not any of the Night Elf stuff. Like, there's the only thing there, aside from the new capital city, there's ports to some capital cities,
And 12 pieces of transmog.
And yeah, but the transmog are basic. They're basic things, and I mean, if you're into that, I guess it's good.
I mean, I'll go look at that.
Shawnee, sounds like you have
Yeah.
done it.
I've done it. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Give us a
Yep.
quick, well, spoiler-free
No,
synopsis.
I mean, it's pretty quick. You get one quest to go over, and then it's a cutscene.
Oh, okay.
And then they're like, oh, here's a new zone. Well, not new zone, but like people talk, some people show up you haven't seen in a while. And then you just fly around and pick up all the treasure.
Well, there's a lot of drama though because the Horde are allowed inside the city, right?
Yeah.
So
But
Scrap-
we
But
get
Night
all
Elves
the,
are chill with Horde.
we get all the Alliance has all the ports there and back, but Horde only has a port there.
Whoa. Was that trolling or are you serious?
Dude, it's over. Taronda, she forgave Sylvanas, I think. She's like, it's all cool, we have a new house. That's what the quest was about.
Scrap has no idea.
Moving
Isn't that what
on.
the Gilneas quest is about for real though? Is that like the undead are like, hey, you can have this back?
We haven't gotten to that because that's another point of contention in this lore.
Okay.
Dragon riding is now available
Oh,
worldwide.
what? That's awesome. Hey, that dragon's really cool.
Where has Scrap
Proto
been
trait.
for the last like 2 months?
I haven't even
Playing
checked my
Final
vault this
Fantasy
week.
right now. Yeah, she's
No,
all
I
over the
literally
place.
haven't even checked my vault this week.
Scrap slept through raid this week, and that
Yep.
was appreciated. Had no trouble getting the bosses down.
Yeah, I don't even know how that went.
so yeah, you have dragon riding, or now it's going to be called dynamic flying throughout the entire world, which I think a lot of people are going to enjoy thoroughly.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's in here later, but there's also now the Outland Cup, which Scrap, you've done all the
Oh my
cups.
god, I have to do the Outland Cup.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Whoa,
Azerothian
that's cool.
Archives. Now, this isn't archaeology, and I'm not
No, it's
quite
not.
sure what it is.
It's
It's
not, but it's
annoying.
like it. Yeah,
It is like
I don't-
it. They should have just made it archaeology.
Dude, I
This
wasted
has,
so
like,
many hours in archaeology.
Weird functions that like archaeology was better. You just went around and dug. This one is like you
Why?
gotta make your little elemental do something and then run through something
Ugh.
else and then back and forth and get in the sweet spot to dig.
Frank, you
it's
know
kinda-
everything. Why did they scrap archaeology?
I don't know why. I don't think anyone knows why, other than they didn't think the gameplay was fun.
But a lot of people like it. I like it.
I know, and
And archaeology was way better than this.
it was then this. This is
Yeah.
okay. I'm not
I've-
hearing that, but I mean, again, I have a very small select few people who say anything about it.
I've done it like quite a bit of it because I want to get the transmog from it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like I'd rather do archaeology.
Okay, fair enough. All right. Well then, outside of that, though, there are some transmogs and stuff with it. But going back to archaeology, I only did archaeology to try to get that raptor mount way back when, and
Yeah,
I
I
didn't. You did? Okay, I didn't get it,
Yep.
and I got very bored with it quickly trying to get it. But yeah, I think that's ultimately what happened is they didn't.
So I did it a ton because I was leveling. My friends were playing Cataclysm, and I didn't want to like make a new character because they're playing Alliance, and all they had was Horde characters. So I made a DK, and then I had to level through Outland. I was like, ugh, I'm not gonna do that. So all I did was exploration because I gave you experience, pet battles, which was new, and archaeology, and I leveled 10 levels doing that, and it was so relaxing. It was so chill. Like, and then you get to see the whole world, and it was like there's a lot of cute little lore bits and stuff. It's for weirdos like me who like that stuff.
Well, and again, a lot of people do miss it. A lot of people ask about it, but I just don't think Blizzard was happy with the gameplay at it.
Well, they should make it more fun instead of getting rid of it.
Sure,
So-
and I mean they haven't killed it off. It's just not being advanced, and maybe they'll bring it back at some point. But yeah, this is not
Yeah.
that, and apparently, according to Shawnee, not very good. I do
It's
hear
not-
that it's
not
just like all the
horrible.
other events that they have out there right now. Right?
Yeah,
like
I
Time
trust
Rush
Johnny
Slow.
that it's not fun then.
It's not horrible. It's just like they took parts of archaeology and they're like, let's make it more not complicated, just like more annoying to do. And I'm like,
More annoying.
I'm like,
Alright.
why not just leave it how it was?
All right, reclaiming Gilneas. So
Amazing.
amazing. So this was good.
Yeah, I
You
loved
like
it.
the story?
I did.
I hate Calumethyl, so I'm kind of resisting because I just hate her.
Do you hate her because
Well,
she's undead? Do you hate her because she's a boring character?
I think she's an atrociously boring character.
Oh,
I
so-
am. I read the books. She was terrible in the book. She's so annoying. She just does whatever she wants and gets rewarded for making a big mess out of things. She like dies and gets brought back undead, but she's like sparkly, pretty undead, so she's like
Yeah.
different for everybody else.
Okay.
And she's like, "Yeah, I deserve the throne of Lordaeron because like that's my birthright or whatever." And she's just shady. I don't like her.
But
Well,
did she? Okay, I'm not going to go down this rabbit
Go
hole.
on, no, ask me.
So there's a lot of
You need to do
drama
this.
around
What's
the
the
idea
drama?
that the undead are helping reclaim Gilneas. So another, the
I
horde.
think so. The why Gilneas needs to be reclaimed, I assumed, is because didn't they like the undead just like bomb it with like toxic gases
Blight,
and stuff?
blight, yeah.
Yeah, but they were
She's read the
vibing
book,
there.
but you
Like,
don't know what blight is.
yeah, I can't remember what the hell it's called.
This will be
But,
part of our
like,
trivia game.
I thought they were like squatting there. Like
No,
they were
so
like, we're gonna hang out here now.
I think it got decimated during Cataclysm or whatever.
Yeah, but
but
undead
then-
can still chill there, right? Like,
Yes, but
they were holding it
to-
and using it as a port.
to retcon it, I guess the Scarlet
Mhm.
Crusade took over it. That way, we weren't fighting the undead.
Wait,
Um,
what? When did they take over it?
a while ago.
Now,
Why can't the Gilneas guys just handle it themselves?
well, because they're all dead.
Okay, so wait, so the undead were holding it. The Scarlet Crusade swept in and killed all the undead there.
I guess.
Yep.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. Then
When
why the
when
undead
BFA
would like
was happening and
help them.
Lordaeron fell.
Okay, that makes sense because then it's like, okay, the undead will be like, we want these Scarlet Crusade guys out of here. These Gilneans want their house back, so let's like work together.
Yes,
story?
I think
I'm
yes.
not going to tell you what happens. You got to play it, Scrap. It's
I'll-
like
I'll play it.
15 minutes.
I'll play it. I just don't like Calumethyl, so if she's in it a lot, I might quit.
Oh, she's
No.
in it the whole way.
I
the whole
hate her.
time.
No, she's
just-
not in it at all.
In
I
fact,
just
she
hate
walks
that they
around
were
with
like,
you.
I hate that they were like, oh, Sylvanas is nasty and evil and mean. We need like a good undead lady, and she's like never done anything wrong in her life. She's actually like royalty. She's sweet. She's not like regular undead. She's like
Yeah,
sparkly,
sounds
gorgeous
great.
undead. And
She
she's
sounds
super nice and
delightful.
annoying. I don't like delightful. Like they're undead.
Aw. That doesn't mean they can't be delightful.
She's boring. I don't like her. I don't like that she's not gross.
I want an actual city out of this though. Does it turn into an actual city?
I mean,
Well,
there's
the undead
you
don't
get
have
a
a place to
toy.
live.
Yeah,
You,
you
you get a toy that ports you
I thought they reclaimed
Why
Lordaeron
would I
too.
want to go there? No, what are you talking about? Lordaeron's a mess. When did they reclaim that?
I thought I don't know.
They
I'm
like
not sure.
super bladed that one, unless
I
they
thought there was
retcon that too.
no. I think that's part of what was bringing Menethil in was that she helped reclaim Lordaeron.
No, it's literally just that she's like, it's my birthright and it's mine. Straight
That's-
up.
I think you'll
That's
like
not
this.
how I remember it, but that's okay.
Well, that
you do
is
the
what was
quests?
in the book.
Did you? I know, but
Read-
did you do the
read the book.
quests?
No, I've never done any quests with her in it. I hate
Okay.
her.
Well, let's move on.
Read the
Then.
book, though.
I did read the,
All
the
right,
one that
now
came
Scrap.
out like 7 years ago.
This is the one that I'm most curious about because I don't know if anyone has even done this.
I haven't tried it.
So Scrap,
this?
follower dungeons. Have you heard about this?
No.
Lithium,
No,
have you heard
no.
about this?
Yeah, I've heard about it.
Yeah, of course you two have because you guys pay attention. So what they've done is, and this is more about the tech than the actual feature itself, but what they've done is for any of the normal dungeons in Dragonflight, you don't have to have a group for it anymore. If you, I guess, queue for it.
Oh, it's like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, I think.
Final Fantasy 14.
It'll give you 4 NPCs. You can
Okay,
take as many
yeah.
people as you want.
In Final Fantasy 14, you can do any dungeon by yourself, and it gives you like a dungeon party of NPCs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And apparently the tech is very good, right? Because you can either lead them yourself or they can lead you.
I want to know, do they have storylines? Do I get to
No.
know these
No.
fellows?
No,
No.
they do. They're from Exile's Reach. So if you've done
Yeah, but do
Exile's
they... Oh, I see her on the left. She's the commander.
Yeah. So they're
But
from
there's no-
Exile's Reach. But
Do
there's
they,
no
like,
story
chit-chat?
inside the dungeon.
Oh, that's
No.
sweet. Because in Final Fantasy, they like chit-chat, I'm pretty sure.
No.
I don't know. I haven't played that game in forever.
I think the tech is there that in the future they could do that.
I mean,
They should do that.
there's talk that maybe once the expansion comes out, that you'll be able to use people from your war band.
Yeah.
To do these, which I
Yeah.
hope is true.
Oh, I love that. See, I like that kind of stuff. That's cute.
Well, when it launched too, it was terrible for experience, but apparently they had a bug where they wrote it that in case you brought friends, like the experience wasn't too high, so they instead buffed it, and now you can actually get some pretty decent experience out of it. So it's probably
I
really
will
good
say-
leveling.
This
You
feature
can
is
only
not
do
for
10
me.
a day currently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 a day.
I don't have any interest in this feature personally, but I think it's good for the game.
Well, and the big argument for why it's so good for the game is that the people who are socially anxious about playing Mythic Plus in general, or learning a new spec and learning how to tank, whatever it may be, this would be great for them to get into that
They should make
area.
them BM like you if you do bad. Like if you die, they should whisper
Well,
you.
the opening of the
Like,
weekly
you
reset
suck.
was a skit of them being kicked out by the NPCs because they were so bad. So
So not to go on about Final Fantasy, but the first dungeon you do with your
No, okay.
followers like that, it's literally like one of them is like BMing, and then like the other guys are like, yeah, you shouldn't like do that. You should be nice to your friends or whatever. It's like trying to teach you to be nice in a dungeon. I'm like, it's cute. I think
yeah,
they should do that.
all the
Wow.
power to them do to make that kind of like lore out of it.
Yeah, it's cute.
All right, so there's Outland Cup goes through January 31st. Scrap, so get to
I
work.
should be doing that right now while we're
You
doing
should
the
be, yeah.
podcast.
Warlock and I think Troll customizations, like cool, good for you.
Oh, that's cool.
And then other than that, okay, so here's where we get into some of the class changes, but I'll actually change the hotfix changes. So any other notes on 10.2.5? You guys excited? I mean, it seems like to be a little bit more of the same. Scrap, you should be
I wish there
excited.
was
You're the
more
one that's
quests.
most excited about your changes.
Oh, I thought you meant about that stuff that we just talked about.
Well, yeah, it's included in that, but yeah,
Nah, that stuff isn't interesting to me at all.
fair enough.
But the survival hunters changes are.
Oh
What-
yeah, I haven't even checked my buffs out yet.
What
You
about
do that.
Shawnee? Shawnee, anything that you enjoyed, didn't enjoy?
I like the cinematics, but I wish there was just like more quests to do in general.
Well, and it's 15 minutes to do Gilneas. That sounds pretty short.
Yeah, it is.
I'll give you my password. You can do all my quests.
No.
I'm sick of not being able
But
to summon
literally
people at the Chromie
breaking
dungeon.
terms of service on the podcast. Great job.
It's not breaking. It's bending.
What about you, Lithium?
Nah.
Yeah, nothing. Okay, well,
Nah.
the big thing that we want to talk about is all the changes that came to the spells, to the classes, right? So Demon Hunter looks to have gotten not their DPS but their survivability buffed. Now, Lithium, I think
Just a
you're
thing.
only one that has played Demon Hunter, at least tanking or maybe both. Good, bad, who cares?
I don't think it's gonna matter.
Fair enough.
It's not impactful enough to do.
Feral getting buffed 3%. All
3%.
all across the board.
Nobody's gonna care about that either.
I was
Alicia-
gonna
Alicia
say
will care.
3% buff is such a like shut up and take your stupid buff that you're not even gonna notice. Like it's like nothing.
Well, no, I
So
mean,
sad.
is it nothing? I mean, it's going from effectively
it's-
like if you do 200k in a dungeon,
hmm
3% would be
206K.
206 k. I mean, like, hey, that could scrap. That's the
No.
difference of you sitting there talking 40 million versus 20 million. You know?
So if I don't
five
die,
people-
like I could do more than that. You know what I mean? It's
Well, yeah, but that's with or
It's not
without the
even
buff.
it's not even like an additional pack of damage. You know what I mean? Like that's nothing.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Evoker, Devastation getting some buffs. some substantial ones. Oh, never mind.
20%.
About 10% looks like. No, yeah, some 20s. And then Hunter. Now this is just.
Oh, I've been saying we need this. This is it.
No, that is garbage.
Okay, well, here at the top one, ability damage increased by 2%.
Well, pet and you. All,
yeah, ability and
so
pet. Yeah,
all
whatever.
2%. So just a flat 2%.
2%
And
is
then
again, like kind of rude.
yeah, no, it's
to
not
even
rude.
put on there.
The philosophy has been that they don't flip the dial immediately; they slowly ramp it up, right?
Yeah.
These are all the first buffs after the new year, so this is like the first buffs they did getting back into it.
And then all big AOE buffs.
Yep. So I don't even know. I never heard you talk about butchery and carve. But
butchery is like my my spender for focus, and it gives me back wildfire charges. So it's kind of like between bombs, you just weave
use
in
that. Okay.
Carves or butcheries.
Fear of the Eagles. That big cooldown you use?
Yeah, that's what our 4 set is centered around it. It's a channel. You often hear me say like, I interrupted my channel to like do X, Y, or Z.
No, we don't.
That's what I'm talking
I've heard her
about.
say
it's
it once,
really
'cause she's-
annoying.
I've heard her say, "I can't do that. I'm channeling."
Yes, that's what I've heard.
That's what you hear more often. That's a huge buff. And then Wildfire Bomb is like most of my damage, so getting 15% is like getting
That's
50%
ridiculous.
total.
Right. Like she needs it.
No, I think I do need it because in like big
Well,
packs,
she needs it because she's losing to me on
That's
Windwalker.
I'm
Yeah.
not losing
No.
to you, but I'm
No,
just
no,
saying
you
big
are.
I mean,
pickup
you are.
situations,
Scrap, can I say
haven't
that
seen it.
when we were first starting this season,
Uh-huh.
you were keeping up with BM. You were doing really well, but for
Yeah,
the
so
past
BM
2
had-
weeks, I'd say
Yeah,
you
I fell
haven't been
behind.
playing very well.
Well, okay, ease up on that.
You're
old
sure.
man.
Fell off.
I got what I wanted out of it. I'm playing well. There's times when we do a pack and I'm like, oh, I just like blew that out of the water. Do you maybe
Nope, Scrap just disappeared.
Hey, is
So
this working?
yeah, it's working much better now. Sorry, we had to
Okay.
cut there for a second just so Scrap could stop screaming at me. What were you saying about you sucking?
No, I was saying that in a pack where there's like 40 guys, like a bunch of tiny little shits, like my uncapped damage is like so reduced compared to like Beast Cleave where it's like, hey, where I can do 1 million on a pack, and I'm like
Mhm.
sweating my ass off to do 600k.
Yeah.
So we're not keeping up in big uncapped AoE situations.
Sure. Okay.
Okay.
So hey, Wildfire
So
Bomb
you-
and Fear of the Eagle are both uncapped. They're reduced beyond, I think, 8 targets. But getting a 15% buff is gonna pull that up a bunch.
All right,
Okay.
We'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
later.
And again, I was gonna say,
Right
like,
now.
I'm interested to see what that looks like. We'll do one after the
No,
podcast.
I'm
Let's
saying,
go.
like the performing like AoE class and stuff, like a warlock or like a rogue or something that can pop off on those huge packs. Like I can't do that. I can't pop off on the huge packs. I'm just like consistently like a low level of popping off.
Cool.
But it needs a buff.
Well, and again, I would argue vehemently against it, but seeing
Yeah.
how you've fallen
Why
behind,
would you argue
I
vehemently
would have
against
Scrap.
it?
Let me finish my point. I would have, but seeing the past 2 weeks of you falling behind, I feel like no, maybe it is warranted.
I think it is warranted. I haven't
No,
fallen
I
behind
think
either. I'm still
Scraps-
beating people.
We'll see.
Scrap's falling behind, but I think it's just because she doesn't care.
We'll do
I
a
think I heard-
Panalo, Shawnee, and
Part
Scrap
of
cat fight after this.
Absolutely no problem. I will
I
demolish.
think I heard
It's the
that
one time Scrap will try.
Phoenix's feral druid beat you. Is what I heard.
I've
Oh
never
my
seen
God.
that in my life.
Okay.
I mean,
Anyway,
One of the first takeaways I'm taking from episode 1 is let's not disparage anyone in our Discord.
I told you to be nice, Frank. You're not
really
nice.
not nice to in episode 1.
I don't remember.
I'm not going to name them, but they will reference this point right now, saying, "Look, you guys are talking about me again."
You better cut it.
Anyways,
100% I know what you mean.
Mage
That's why
getting
you
buffed.
said.
Now here's where things
Oh,
go
here we go.
Oh,
off
they didn't
the
buff
rails.
Arcane, did they?
What? Hold on.
those Arcane. Arcane doesn't need a
Hold
buff.
the fuck
Yeah.
on. Okay.
Okay.
Now I've got a theory behind this in a second, right? But fire was already one of the top specs. Okay.
It is the top spec.
But yeah, one of top 3, let's call it, right? And it's taken very heavily in the top keys, and they buffed it. Their AoE is specifically, right? I don't know how much Living Bomb is used, but Flame Strike is used tons. And then they went in and also buffed Frost. Now Ray of Frost is a single target spell, I believe, but the other 2 are used universally. But these are heavily single target spells.
Don't they sometimes like explain when they buff stuff? They'll have like a little
Yeah,
bracket
they'll have
thing that's
a
like, oh hey, like
developer's notes,
they
yeah.
were falling behind or whatever. Why is there no notes on this one?
Well, so here's my thought.
I think
What's your thought?
Frost, I'm not upset with, right? I feel like it's heavily focused on single target. It wasn't performing very well in raid. In fact, it wasn't even performing very well, period, right? So I have no problem with Frost. Fire, I believe that they had to play this buff to the every people crowd, not to the fact that they are doing so well in high keys. Because, and this, I still stand by this, we talked about it last week in the tier set, like, or the tier rankings, that I just don't believe people play at that level on the everyday keys that you see in 20s and whatnot. Because we had that Fire Mage that didn't do well. We ridiculed you like crazy last week about that. And so this is buffing them because you don't see those kind of pulls in an everyday 20 key. It's only the people that are doing the 30s that are going to see the benefit of this. And yes, it'll only make mages more desirable at that place, but that's not the place where 99.9% of the players are playing, so why does it matter?
I don't know too much about Fire Mage. I don't know where those two abilities fit into like their rotation, I guess. Like,
well, Flame Strike is I don't want to say constant because they have that Phoenix dive or whatever, but it's very heavily used.
Okay,
and it's like a 50%. No. It's so the idea behind fire is that you ignite everything with, like, you set it on fire and it burns for additional dots. And Flame Strike hits everyone as opposed to Pyroblast hitting one single target.
It's something you put on your 2 or 3 keys. What you're saying.
Yeah. It's
Okay,
your
gotcha.
it's like your number one key is either Pyroblast or Flame Strike. Right?
Yeah, but Pyroblast you don't hit that often, right?
No, you do when you're, especially when you're in combustion windows, right? You're like,
gotcha.
The way it works is you have these windows of combustion where you're just like nonstop sending Power Blasts, like, right?
Yeah.
And Flame Strike is the inverse to it in AoE, where you're just Flame Striking and then Phoenix diving, and it's just like a nonstop.
I don't know what problem they're trying to address. Is that like lower skilled players are not even getting close?
I wouldn't even say it's the skill set, because here's the thing. So back to my theory of, I wanted to play Frost this week because I wanted to see, well, was it enough to make Frost viable at the 20 keys? And it wasn't. I even simmed Frost, right? I changed all my gear sets to make sure that I was getting the right specs and right stats, and I simmed it, and it was 10% lower than my arcane sims.
But isn't it like it's a lot more idiot proof? I don't want to say like idiot proof.
I'll be honest, it wasn't that easy. It's easier.
No, not idiot proof. Not idiot proof. Disaster proof. Like,
no, not
if
really.
Something gets messed up, it's not like the end of the world.
No, because I'd say it's even harder for Frost to do well, because your tank has to be like playing into your space. Whereas with Arcane, like, I can move around, and if the tank can move around, I'm okay with that. I'm just happy as long as there's more mobs.
You also stand in melee, taking up all my space.
Not always, right?
It seems like always.
No, because Arcane Explosion, we're going down a rabbit hole here. But anyways, where I go off the rails is that Arcane didn't get any buffs, right? Like, I don't want single target.
It feels like it's performing well, so why would it get any buff?
Because it was playing in the same space that Frost was playing in, performance-wise.
The reason why Fire and Frost got buffs is because people play those. Arcane, nobody plays.
Fair enough.
I mean, I don't know why
themselves.
I'll shut up then.
Just shut up then.
Monk, Brewmaster getting some defensive buffs, especially against magic, right? That's nice.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then Mistweaver, again, S tier healer, getting some serious healing, increasing.
Well, the problem with that is that they need to use their fists to heal, so they need the buffs.
Well, no.
I mean,
raid healing doesn't.
A lot of it was damage. It looks like.
Yes, but that is also healing, right?
All healing increased by 5%, dude.
Yeah. So first off, all healing, right? That's big,
sweet.
especially since renewing miss is a big part of that toolkit, no matter what you do. Right, Vivify.
This week it is legit.
Frank, I don't know. I mean, I guess monks are doing okay, but like, you're always bitching and keys whenever you're healing.
What am I? No. I'm bitching because of one thing, and I'll get to that in a second. No. It's one thing. It's one thing that I bitch about, right? And I'll get to that in a second. But yeah, like Blackout Kick, Rising Sun Kick, and Tiger Palm. These are all part of the teachings of the ancient monastery, which is heavy healing. Huge buffs there, right? Mm-hmm. And then remember when we ran with Alicia on her monk, you know how much damage she did? They
yeah, she
increased
did more
spinning
damage than
crane
you did.
kick. Well, yeah, because she was using DPS trinkets, but that's another story.
Yep.
They increased the damage of it by 5%, and also another 10% of the transferring damage into healing with teaching of the ancient sword. So this is like insane to me. I do not know why they did this, because they were already S tier. Their healing was really good, and they just buffed it by 5 to 10%. It's
I wonder
insane.
if they're trying to offset that it's like difficult because you have to be in melee, so you should get more out of it.
What about Holy Paladin? Is there buffs for them?
Aren't they doing well though?
Not even close to Mistweaver.
No.
No, I mean,
sorry, Shawnee.
here we can go there real quick and see. Mythic.
I still have yet to see Shawnee heal a key, so
I healed with other people. I don't want to heal with you in it because I know what you're like.
We can quickly see it, but Holy's 6%, Mistweaver's 30%.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Which is surprising because they actually went down this week despite the buffs. Shaman's.
Wait, this week where am I? Did I go up?
No.
You can't see.
No,
Wait, no,
I can't see it.
Yeah, it's right there. No, that's Mark.
Windwalker's going up.
There's Survival. Actually, yeah, Survival does have a bigger slice this week.
They're gonna buff it more. they need more people playing it.
Let's see. Survival is a B tier right now.
Oh, B tier.
Right? And they have only. You guys say no one plays Arcane, but 161 Survival is really low.
No, I know.
That's true. How many?
I don't know why people aren't playing it. I'm bummed because I really like this tier set. It didn't.
Look at this though. Look at this. So Frost Mage got the buff, and they dropped 13 spots in rankings.
I mean, you got to give it at least 2 or 3 weeks to percolate.
Fire Mage dropped too. Look,
it's only been 3. It's only been 3 days. Maybe mages don't play the first half of the week. Just saying.
Fair enough. my bad. Red Paladin. But look, Destruction's up there now, tied with Demo, and Fury Warrior up 6 spots. Outlaw and Havoc still doing really well.
I haven't seen any Fury Warriors doing like.
No, I've seen some pretty good ones. Windwalker finally getting represented there. Penala.
Yeah, dude.
So, anyways,
I call him.
I'm blown away by this, anyways. But that's neither here nor there. Rhett, dude, 40% Crusader Strike, 25% Blood Justice. Why?
Because single target sucks with Rhett.
And are these all single target things?
No. Final Reckoning's AoE, but it's like a 2-minute cooldown.
Yeah. So this does have a depth note.
And Crusader Strike are both single target, and like that's where I lose all my DPS because you got to pick one or the other build wise.
Oh, okay.
Like
so this
AoE
target. And this does have the dev saying like the buttons just don't feel as good, and so we're making some changes.
Of them putting a note under this, but not under the 30% mage buff, like. Just no explanation.
Anyways, Priest, Holy getting some buffs. That's cool. Shadow looks like
they have notes under all of these ones. What the hell?
No, they didn't. Here's
under the Priest and under the Rogue.
Yeah, Shadow's single target DPS is being improved.
They have a paragraph under the Rogue.
So
I care about Outlaw.
Reduces bonus to Blade Flurry damage by missing targets. This doesn't seem like a huge buff.
Wait, they brought something from 3% to 2%, and they put a paragraph under that?
They're basically saying Outlaw's overperforming. And they're like, you gotta crack down on it.
They dropped one ability by 1%, and they wrote a paragraph about that.
Yep.
But no explanation for the mage or survival buffs.
Well, no, they explained it right here, though. They said that this will change their damage output in encounters with targets above 1 and below 8. As their damage is more consistent than we intended for dungeons and encounters that frequently present those circumstances. So
I want a second developer's note that says this is why we put a note on this 1%, but like nerf.
Warlocks
and not on anything else.
Well, here's why I think this happens, though, Scrap, is because there's certain people who do certain classes. So the people who care about their classes leave dev notes. The people who don't care just whatever.
I mean, medicine's back.
Like no, and imagine like this is the way I'll frame it, right? Imagine if it's like. You use Scrap writing you would write a paragraph, and then imagine Leo is the one that is writing the survival hunter ones. He's like, just take what you fucking get and shut up,
Yeah, I guess so. And it makes me think that like people aren't making educated decisions on all classes, only on some of them.
You can see that in some of the revamps, but anyways, okay. Yeah. So Destruction, you can see here gets pretty good buffs. Affliction got some buffs, but it doesn't seem to be doing much to help them out. But whatever.
I never seen anybody playing Affliction. So
Affliction, I'm gonna try Affliction because the burst damage from seed spam and stuff like that is amazing. It looks cool. I want to try it.
Don't worry, we're allowed to swear, Lithian.
You know,
I have
don't
been.
like to. Oh, have you?
All right, so those are the changes that came into effect with 10.2.5, and then we also
We skipped the PvP.
Yeah, who cares about PvP? We're not
Okay.
a PvP. We're not a PvP podcast.
That's
we
my other
also
podcast.
while right after the podcast came out last week, we have season 4's vote for your tier set. Now we've got the concluding votes right here, so if you guys want to take a look at some of them, they did point out that you could vote once per character. So if you have like 10 characters on your forums, you could vote for all of them.
I only voted once.
Well, let's look. Okay, so Death Knight we're gonna skip because I don't think any of us. Well, I shouldn't skip because of people listening, but season 2 won for Blood, which I think was pretty good for them because
it is.
Yeah. Frost season 2 won, which is surprising because I don't remember season 2 being strong for Frost.
I've not seen anybody play Frost DK at all.
It won
For
pretty
3
handedly.
seasons.
Unholy this season's winning, and I think when MDI comes out, we're gonna see Unholy showing up big there.
Mm-hmm.
So
look at this transmog; it's so bad.
I guess they.
Yeah, actually, I really like the DK transmog though. It's awesome.
Hideous.
No, wait, go up. That's the Warlock one. Go up.
What do you mean that's the Warlock
it's the DK one?
Oh, I'm talking about the Demon Hunter one. That's
Oh, sorry. Oh, the
that's
Demon Hunter.
bad.
Yeah. No,
This blue one's
DK
okay.
one
This blue one's
is
okay.
awesome.
It's the
Anyways.
neck.
Havoc
Mile
with resounding success wins season
How many
3.
people voted for that? What the hell?
They're crushing it right now.
Yeah.
And then Vengeance, I mean they're doing really well too, so they won.
Yeah.
Did they
3.
clear the bots out for this? Like 13,000. I don't think many people played
They did make sure there was no bots, but they also they didn't do a good job of griefing. So I mean, there's not much you could do.
Yeah.
All right. So Druid balance season 1 wins. So one thing that I heard them talking about in some of the podcasts this week was that okay, so season 1 wins, but these were built before some of the revamps on the talent trees. Which brings me to the point that I think Blizzard is going to make some adjustments, not only on performance, numbers wise, but make some adjustments on the actual tier sets altogether. They'll see something and say, okay, well, that doesn't exist in the talent tree anymore, or it doesn't play well in the talent tree anymore. So we're going to change to that. So I don't think this is the voting conclusion, but I don't think Blizzard's had their final say on it.
One thing I'm curious about that I saw, I'm skipping ahead to my own survival, is that people were talking about the season 1 was really powerful, but they nerfed the shit out of it, so it didn't outpace the season 2 4 set. During season 2, they nerfed the shit out of the season 1 one. So are we getting the nerf version or the non?
No, they're going to tune everything. They're going to go through and tune everything one more time. That's what they said, at least. People
were talking about that in the forum where the voting was happening. If we're voting for this, we don't want to vote for the nerfed one.
Yeah. Well, Feral won season 3, which is surprising to me because I don't think Feral. Well, in raid it does well, but it doesn't, I think, do well. Guardian handedly, this is the most votes so far, right?
Oh yeah, dude, that was season 2. Guardian was amazing.
Everybody wants to pull out their bear tanks and
Lithium's looking forward to bear tanking again.
Yeah.
Season 3 for Druid. Druids are doing fairly well right now. Evoker, so season 1 winning. Okay, cool. That set looks pretty good. And an augmentation, of course, keeping its current set, but again, I think augmentation is going to fall off a cliff sometime soon. Season 2 for Devastation. Preservation, season 1. So the healers getting their old stuff back.
Season 1 was good, I think.
Yeah, well, that's when they were really. I think they were really doing well because the raid was built and the dungeons were built around the idea of evokers because they were like, well, you obviously can't make this suck. But there's a lot of talk about the range of them again, so will they always suck? All right, Hunters, here you go, Scrap. So Beastmaster
that transmog is terrible. They didn't make a good transmog the whole fucking expansion.
This looks like bugs.
It's supposed to look like Razageth. See?
Yeah, kind of.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
All right, so keeping BM season 3, so you got to still deal with that. Marksmanship. Isn't marksmanship? Marksmanship keeping season 3. Surprise there.
I think it's doing okay. I don't know. I'm not going to play it.
Great.
And then survival. Ooh, season 1. Okay, Scrap. Here you go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to read season 1 just for please do not.
What season 1 do?
No. I don't. I know what it does.
Do you?
But yeah, I saw this when I voted. The season 1 and 3 were neck and neck because season 1 is more single target and season 3 is more bomb spam. But I guess there's more raiders than there are myth.
You should have voted more.
I really don't.
I didn't know I could.
But I don't think there are, Scrap, because survival's not a spec that you're going to bring. You're not going to see it in mythic rating because there's only so many spots you can take.
In
Yeah, you won't
season
see
1, the single target was like insanely good.
I
It's also
know,
really
but-
brain dead. Like it's just press one button over and over.
Sounds
I'm
like
willing
your
to bet.
thing.
Have you
Yeah.
gone into the Hunter Discord to see what they say?
No, I don't have it.
Well,
Oh.
fair
I don't
enough.
have it
Okay.
on my Discord.
Moving on then.
I love the Mage transmog. It's the best.
Arcane is keeping their current season set, which I think is the right play, but I don't know. Fire going back to season 2. I don't know Fire that well, so I'm not going to focus
A
on
lot
it.
of people wanted 3 though.
And then Frost keeping this season, even though, again, not performing that
Well,
well.
yeah, they like their buffs probably.
Yeah, a lot of people did want to keep this.
Yeah, I was gonna say I like seeing the ones that are kind of neck and neck.
All right, Brewmaster keeping season 3. Again, this one actually on paper
Man, nobody
sounded
liked
amazing.
season 1. What the hell?
Well, I think season 1
It's-
was just boring, wasn't it? Just like a versatility buff or
Yeah,
something.
season 1's more. Season 3 is all right. It's not bad. It's not just not great to me.
And then Mistweaver keeping season 3 hands down.
Of course.
This one's too. I love this. That's such a good one.
Hmm.
Windwalker, Lithian, season 1. What do you think?
Did you play in season 1, Lithian?
Hmm?
Monk.
It was
Fist
it
of
was all right.
Fury increases the damage of dealt by your next 2 Rising Sun kicks or spinning crane kicks. But that sounds
Yep.
good.
No, it was good. I played it. That's when I was raiding with the monk. It was really good.
And
I thought you were
yeah, I
playing
was gonna
DK.
say, wasn't Monk pretty well rated there in that season?
Yep.
Season 2 coming back for Pally. I actually like this one because I feel like this one's good for
It
Holy.
reads well.
Like the Holy Prism alone, like was just a huge Holy Power buff, and it was nice. Season 1 coming back for Prop Pally. Ooh,
Yeah, I heard some people complaining about it.
I mean it's really good defensively, but
That one's all pretty close though. Look, it's like people liked all seasons.
not bad.
Mm.
And Rhett, Shawnee, season 3 coming back. Feel good?
Yeah.
Feels good, bro.
It is what it is. I don't mind it. It works well.
Wow, look how many priests. Oh, that's for the transmog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Discipline keeping their tiers season 3, no surprise there. Holy keeping their season 3, okay,
I
good.
thought Discipline was season 2.
What was it? No, season 3.
Oh, it's close though.
That's
Wait, no,
Holy.
Holy. No, sorry, Holy. Yeah, I haven't got. Wait, where was Discipline?
Up above it.
No,
season
that keeps
3.
saying.
Yeah.
And then Shadow going back to season 2. Again, I don't know too much
Wow,
about
look
it.
at all
So.
those votes.
See, I think I remember Shadow performing super well in season 2, didn't it?
I think it did it like certain like niche things, but I don't know. Rogue, Assassination
They're all keeping
keeping
3.
season 3, yeah.
Yeah.
Outlaw keeping season 3, yep, so cool. I'll just go quickly through this. Shaman, that's for the tier. Elemental keeping season 3. Actually, Elemental's climbing. I hear good things. Enhancement, of course, keeping season 3. They're doing really well. And Resto going back to season 1. Okay.
Was it good in season
Nice.
1? Season 1 was so long
Critical
ago.
Strike and wow. This one right
I
here
don't
doesn't
know.
seem that good. Your critical heals have 215% effectiveness instead of the usual 200. That doesn't sound.
15%.
Dude, you
Mhm.
crit hard, man. You
Yeah,
crit
is it-
hard.
But
So you
like
do a
you're
lot
already
of
critting
crits
hard.
that
Like whatever.
Yeah.
All right, Resident Warlock, Lithian, Affliction getting season 3 for Demo, and season 1 for
course.
Destruction. What are you playing right now?
He's
Demo.
emo.
So you're
Like
gonna keep
everybody
season 3,
else.
yeah. Well,
That's
Destruction's,
like that.
Destruction's doing well right now.
And
Yeah,
with
it
the
is.
seed bonus.
All right,
Oh
Arms,
yeah,
season
I love
1.
that transmog set. It's the best one.
It's terrible.
The dragon, the Power Ranger. It's
No
just
one,
like
no one plays Arms, so we won't worry about that. Season 2 is coming back for Fury. You haven't played.
resoundingly.
Well, no, because it almost tied with season 3.
Do you want me
Oh,
to
I
read
can't
that to
even
you,
season
Scrap?
4. No, thank you. But I'm sad that season 1 is just got abolished because like season 1 was a 2-button spec. It was so good. That's
then-
what I would have voted for.
Proc keeping the current season. So again,
Yeah.
we will see more, and hopefully next time we have a podcast, we'll have more information on that. But that's effectively the news. Anything else you
Yeah, we'll
guys
have more
want to talk about?
complaints. No, I mean I'm curious what the transmog they're gonna do with it because if they're just re-releasing it, that's like, dude, what are you doing? It has to be a different color at least.
Well, I think we got bigger things to worry about in season 4.
What are you talking
Because-
about? That's the only thing to worry about.
Tell Darren to sit down. He's got that's some nasty stuff on his computer screen. We have in season 4 a lot of wish lists coming out, and last week we talked about this a little bit. It's a huge hot topic, honestly, since bolstering with the flowers and Everbloom, bolstering things. Bursting was last week with, again, the flowers that never bloom, bursting, everything. But you have Incorporeal, you have Afflicted. We have all the new things that came in Dragonflight. We have the loss of our Seasonal Affix. So today we're going to spend the remaining amount of time, which we've been going a little long.
I told you this is going to take forever, this part.
You think this part's going to? Well, we'll see.
Yeah, because I have a lot to explain.
Affixes, okay? Oh, when you...
Yep.
Okay, we'll get there.
Yeah.
So we'll start by talking about some of the changes real quick. So in Dragonflight, we saw the removal of some affixes like Explosive, and I think they redid, they got rid of Quaking, but they put Entangling in instead. Yep. They added Incorporeal, they added Afflicted, and
they got rid of Inspiring too.
I thought they got rid of that a long time ago, but maybe not.
No, in Dragonflight.
But anyways, like a lot of changes there. Season 1 had the Seasonal Affix, which was Thundering, almost universally disliked.
I love Thundering. So.
Of course you did.
I love it.
And then, of course, Season 2 and Season 3, no Seasonal Affix. So I want to talk about the changes that we believe, if Blizzard's listening, they should make to not only all affixes, but also maybe the advent of bringing back Seasonal Affixes. So we'll start with, I think, one that hasn't been talked about a lot, but I think is actually really problematic, especially this season, which is the Fortified versus Tyrannical Affix. I think you guys tell me if you disagree. It's universally agreed on that Fortified weeks are easier than Tyrannical weeks. And again, especially in Season 2, Tyrannical is one of those weeks where I'm just like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, I don't know if I want to push.
Well, I've heard that, like, it's like the higher the key, the more deadly Fortified is.
Well, so part of the conversation, and it's not just...
it's all about control.
Well, it's not just Fortified, because there are some, like, you know, for example, what's the end of Atal Dazar? She has
Spider.
that...
Yeah, but she has that blast that she hits people with.
It's just a heal check? Yeah.
Well, it's not a heal check, it's a survive check, right? Because, okay, so let's give some examples.
Is there's too many one-shots. That's the bigger problem.
And so, we'll say at the level 30s, which is, again, where people at the highest level are playing right now, there's like all sorts of them. So we won't necessarily talk about those because, again, this is the podcast for the rest of us. Let's talk at like the 20s level, okay? Now, at the 20 level, I don't think there's any single solitary spell that one-shots that normally wouldn't. However, there are examples, and especially on Tyrannical, where, for example, the second boss in Everbloom, you have 2 spellcasters continuously casting big hitting stuff that, while it may not be a single one-shot, it can feel like a one-shot because you're getting 2 sources almost back-to-back immediately. So, like, that in of itself, and then on top of that, going to the last boss of Everbloom, where you have the boss, like, doing this huge thundering stomp, and then adding an ad that's continuously poisoning everyone, rapidly. That feels, again, not like a one-shot, but you have, like, 3-4 seconds to kind of control the entire scenario.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go on.
I was going to say, I think Everbloom is kind of just like a flawed dungeon by design because 3 of the bosses, the big check is heal checks. Like 3 out of the 4 bosses comes down to the healer.
But you keep saying heal. No, but you say heal check. Like, again, we're playing at the level where this is not even the heal check anymore. It's the entire group's responsibility to survive.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I mean, I like it better if, there's more balance in bosses. Like one boss is like really on the healer and one boss is really about a tank movement or something. And one boss is really about like DPS managing ads, like there's variety in the dungeon. Whereas I feel like Everbloom is just like 3 really difficult healing fights.
I mean, the last boss of Darkheart has killed us numerous times.
Because they one-shot once he gets enough stacks of the thing.
Yeah. I prefer the design of Darkheart where it's like that is a big challenge for the healer, whereas the other ones are different challenges.
Scrap, it's not, but that's the point. It's you keep saying the healer can't do anything about that. If anything, the tank's responsible for that.
Of moving the boss.
Well, not allowing the stacks to get up.
I don't have a problem with Darkheart Thicket.
Last boss of Darkheart, I do.
Let me reframe this, okay? Because I think the problem isn't on the healer's shoulders, right? Yeah. The problem is on the survivability of using cooldowns. And some classes have more than others, right? Like as a mage, I have a lot. I don't use them well, but I have a lot. And on others, you don't, right? Like me, and Haywire have been going back and forth about hunter survivability.
Yeah.
And I mean, like 4 weeks into the argument, I bring up the one spell that apparently you need a certain pet to get out of, which is like increasing your health by 20%.
If you want us to
increases
cast
your
heroism, we can't use that pet.
that again, not the point I'm trying to make, but what I'm saying though is that there is something there, right? And again, paladins, ret paladins have a lot of good defensives. But monks, on the other hand, not so many, right?
Yep.
How many survivability? How many defensive cooldowns do monks have?
A lot. They got dampen
Monks
harm.
can heal themselves also.
That doesn't count. No, because again, you have to survive it. Not scrap. You're not. It's not about healing. It's about surviving.
Monks have a lot.
Well, either way, there's obviously like and shaman is definitely one of them that don't.
Oh, shaman. Shaman's just die.
But you mean like look at warlocks, because warlocks just have in general a lot more health, and then of course they have their health stones and you know, all sorts of tips and tricks, I'm sure. But this isn't about healing. This is about surviving, because you know, even going back to a Taldazar, where, and granted this is at higher levels, but let's say it's a 24 last boss tyrannical, she will wrecking pain or whatever it is a player. But then at the, you know, a second later, she will do the soul rend, and you get hit by that as well for like 60% of your health. Then the racking pain right behind it. By the way, the racking pain also has a dot, and it's, you know, of course it's the healer's job to try to help out, but like at a point there's nothing they can do, because like they have to move because of the spiders, or they have to move because of the souls being, you know, DPS or whatever. And they don't have even a global cooldown, let alone one that they can use while moving to get you back up in time. So it's more about the survivability. And it's so much more apparent in Tyrannical for two reasons. One, because if you die on a boss, let's say 70% of the way into the boss, you've lost 3 minutes. It's gone. You're not getting it back.
Yeah.
But two, if you die on Fortified, not only do you not have that problem, but you can also release and run back immediately and get back into the fight. Or even if you die, that one trash just needs a little bit more to die, or you know, the one mob is left over, but the other 8 are dead. It's not a big deal. You just pull that into another pack or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So like inherently, I think Tyrannical is flawed in that sense, but this season especially, it's been very, very bad. So I've said my piece. I'm gonna let you guys talk for a second about it.
I mean, I like the Tyrannical Fortified split. It's not like you're getting judged your Fortified scores against the Tyrannical scores. You have separate scores for that. So if it's like more difficult to time a Tyrannical rise, like, you know, you're gonna get more points for that, like a different set of points than you would for a Fortified. So
Okay.
I mean, I think some dungeons are harder on Fortified, some are harder on Tyrannical, but the points are split, so I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, but okay. So it's not about the points though, right? Because at the end of the day, like if I don't get the dungeon done, that's the part I care about.
Yeah.
And again, you know, pushing up to 22 and above is another story for another day. But I don't know, Shawnee, what do you think?
I personally hate that week. I hate boss week.
Yeah.
I don't even want, like, especially if you put in like stupid affixes on top of box week that just make it even worse.
Yeah.
Like incorporeal or things that make you use like different spells that you have to stop DPSing to kind of do.
Yeah, because that's what it feels like sometimes, where you're in a deep, like a hero window or whatever, where you're just like trying to pump, but like every other global cooldown's used on, for me, like, you know, alter time, and then I have to put a shield up, and then I have to use a mirror image, and then I gotta use ice block, and then I gotta do another
and then
alter
if
time.
you're on like a hard boss and you miss something like an incorporeal, it's just, you're done.
Yeah.
Where I feel like if it's just trash, you can miss one incorporeal and you're like, oh, it kind of sucks for a second. But yeah, the boss dying on a boss is way worse than dying on trash. You can have one person die on a boss and you basically gotta wipe it.
I will, to your point, say like you're using a Taldazar as an example. Like a Taldazar, almost every pug I've been in, people are not dying to the racking pain. They're dying to walking into spiders. Like I think the difference in difficulty between like Fortified and Tyrannical, like bosses versus trash, is like bosses are like, you know, it's just a dance. Like, you know, all the mechanics, you know, when you're supposed to be using defensives and things, like they're generally pretty predictable. Whereas I feel like the trash is less predictable.
Do you think the third boss in Everbloom, where she chooses one of the 4 people to hit an extra time, is predictable?
I don't know, but I don't think that one is well designed.
Well, I think it's an amazing fight. I just wish it'd be a little more choreographed.
Telegraphed. I think that's the only like failing of that boss fight, because the boss fight itself is predictable. You know that she's gonna do the fire and the ice first, and then she's gonna do the fire and the pole next. Like it goes in the same order every time.
Scrap. But does it feel just as equally bad that you die on her because I can't get a heal to you in time, or you didn't use a survival whatever to?
Well, sometimes when I die on her, I do use one and I still die. So.
So that's a problem.
That is a problem.
Doesn't that further prove that Tyrannical is that much harder that you can't survive
I don't like
it?
dying when I feel like it's out of my hands.
I think. I guess
again. Sorry,
biggest thing about Tyrannical and Fortified is Tyrannical's way more punishing than Fortified is. In the end, like they're not equal to each other in difficulty.
But the majority of the dungeon you spend on trash, so if trash is harder, you waste more time on trash.
But it's not that much harder.
So hold on, Lithian, I want to hear your thoughts. I'm going to pull something up while you guys are talking about it.
Sure.
Oh no, my thoughts are on boss week. It's a lot more fun getting to the bosses because I get to pull bigger and we get to kill stuff faster. But the bosses themselves, some of them can be, depending on the skill of the group you're with, can be ultra challenging. But in the end, yeah, boss week is the only week where we start to see people not completing keys, and that part kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's the thing with boss week is that like a fortified key that's 2 out of your skill level, you can complete it because it's like when you're going into a pack, you just got to kill 1 and then it gets easier and easier. Whereas like the boss week, if you're under geared or your team is not up to it, you can hit a wall. Like because a lot of bosses have some sort of berserk mechanic, or you just run out of defensives or cooldowns or whatever. So that's always been the case. That's not just with this.
Yep. I guess that just shows the amount and that it shouldn't be that. They shouldn't be that bad compared to the other week. Like either bring up the trash week to make it harder, or bring that down to make it slightly easier. I'm not asking for like the easiest thing in the world.
I don't think they're that different. Like, I
at
think
some
like some
point-
dungeons are easier on fortified, some are easier on tyrannical. So I think it depends on the
But
dungeon.
trash you can stun and do everything to, and the bosses you have no choice.
But on hierarchies, it comes down to trash. You have to stun to even get past it. Like so.
I think that it's okay to start hitting that skill cap wall at a certain level for folks if they can't get past doing a mechanic correctly as a group, then maybe they don't need to complete that key and they should drop the key and try again, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm okay with that.
Let's look at this from a data-driven point, right?
Low.
Okay.
Because I'm looking at a 23 dark heart, okay? Which is a little high, but on average,
dark heart is just a random one.
Random one, yeah.
Okay.
On average, each boss takes.
I see Frankenberry.
Why don't you look at all at all 23 dark hearts?
I just had it. Where did it?
This seems like very what do you call it?
Well, this is a successful one. This is a successful one, so it's not like it's. I just had the pulls. Where the hell did they go?
Mage could have done better.
Oh, here it is. Okay, so just over 3 minutes, just on 2.5 minutes, almost 4 minutes, and then 3.5 minutes. We'll call it, right. Yeah. So let's just average out about 12-13 minutes. But each pull is on average taking 30 to 40 seconds, except for like the one where someone pulled something insanely stupid and then it took forever.
This is a fortified or a tyrannical?
This is tyrannical, right? Okay. So the downtime is a big usually it's like 75-80% of downtime or uptime. So there's like of this 32-minute key, let's take. I'm trying to do math real quick. Let's take 6 minutes out of downtime.
Frank, you would have to do this with the same group on both weeks because you might have better AoE classes on the fortified key or like better single targets on the tyrannical. This is not good data.
No,
in my opinion.
Yes, of course, I'd love that data, right?
No, I'm just saying whatever you're about to say. Like you're like, the data supports it.
Listen, the point is that the point is, in my experience, and you can tell me if you guys disagree. On average, bosses take 3 to 3.5 minutes on tyrannical, correct?
Yeah.
I would say 3 to 4. Well, it depends on the key.
Sure.
I'd say above 22.
Give me a number. Give me a number. Just give me a number.
Let's say 23. I would say 3 to 4 minutes.
Okay.
Oh.
So we'll say 3.5.
Think about that first boss of Everbloom.
Mm-hmm. So then what does the boss take on 2 on a fortified week? Same key numbers.
2.5 to 3, I would
Okay.
say.
So that is a net difference of 40% more time on the boss.
Yeah, but add that up. That's like, 2 minutes.
No,
What's
it's not.
different?
No, 40% of 12 minutes is 5-6 minutes.
Wait, you're saying the difference between a fortified and a tyrannical is 30 seconds or 45 seconds
per boss.
per boss?
Well, you said two
So
to
that
two
would be
and a half, or what you
6
said.
minutes.
Yes, that's a huge time sink of nonstop.
I think you sink 6
Whereas-
minutes in a fortified.
Whereas when you're on a fortified week, right? All that matters is the because like the pulls will last a little bit longer, but they won't last much longer because everything is still being killed in the same bubble.
No, but think about on a fortified week, like, one person dies or you wipe, you have like rolling wipes, right? Like
Sure. So you lose 30 seconds if 6 people die.
I think you easily lose 6 minutes on a fortified week compared to a tyrannical week. Because you
Our
can pull
worst-
2 packs at a time on a tyrannical week, whereas you may not be able to on a fortified week. And
Our
that cuts
worst weeks
out a
are
minute
boss
or two.
weeks.
Yes, I agree. Yeah, I mean, we can't even
That's
time
because
it.
we struggle with mechanics.
Speak for
Again,
yourself.
Whoa.
We is a strong
no-
term.
Yeah, there's no we.
Okay.
I think we figured out the problem.
You know what bothers me about this log, though?
What?
You got beat by an arms warrior?
I do like that he pulled a log where he got beat.
By an arms warrior?
All right,
It makes
not
me
the
feel
point.
honest.
Not the point. All right, let's take a final
Yep,
vote here
not the
between.
point.
Okay, would you, if you were a dev, would you take out fortified and tyrannical and just make it consistent, or would you leave it in? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Shawnee?
I'd take it out.
So thumbs down. Oh, Lithian keeps it in.
Leave it in. I leave it in, yeah.
Okay.
No, it's the only good affix that they've nailed.
Oh, no. No.
Yeah, I
Definitely
agree.
need to nerf tyrannical, but that's neither. Okay. So, and actually, I don't want to spend the time because we're already running late, but like, I would pull what keys are being done easier, fortified or tyrannical, at the highest level, and I guarantee
Make
you it's
them
fortified.
harder.
I guarantee it's fortified.
Yeah,
All
at
right.
the highest level fortified, yeah.
So,
Or more difficult.
no. Which ones are being keyed higher? It's fortified.
Oh, okay.
God. Oh my God. Okay. All right. Next on the list. Okay. Then the second tier of affixes. So things like we'll start with the olden ones. So volcanic, bursting, raging.
Wait, are we doing a tier list?
No, just in general. Like, what would you
Okay.
change? What's the problem? Right? Like for me, volcanic's fine. Leave it alone. Entangling's fine. Leave it alone. Storming.
As
I
long as
like storming better than either entangling or volcanic, because
long
volcanic
as
is
it
honestly
doesn't-
ignore it.
storming can't bop you out of things that you need
That's the
to
only
be in.
thing it does, Shawnee.
I know, but I'm saying like if it
No, Scruffy
Like,
took
there
4
was
million
tons-
damage from it
It's just
last
a
week.
non-existent affix at that point. If it doesn't.
No, I'm saying
bop
if
you
it
out of
can't
things.
bop you out of a dome, you have to be in and then get one shot. I hate that.
I
No,
see it
but
the
you avoid
inverse.
the-
Especially
you
when you're
avoid
all
it.
like you can't if you're on this little clump. It's like when they put sanguine right under you and you can't move. Like when we were doing, was it last season? And you have like the dome, you have to get in under the lightning boss. I don't even know.
I
the dungeon.
far prefer storming to entangling or volcanic, because entangling and volcanic don't have enough of an impact on the keys, in my opinion.
So you want more. You want more of an
you
impact.
you see those and you're like, oh, free week, easy.
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
you say that
but
about
that's the
storming.
point. But that's
Storming
the point.
is also easy, just slightly like
It's harder on the healer
more
with you.
thoughtful.
and-
So okay, so let's take a detour here. Do you believe there should be free weeks and not free weeks?
No, I think they should balance weeks so that they all have their own challenges.
But how do you do that when there's like, volcanic that can or okay,
they need
I'll give you an
to-
example,
they
Scrap,
need to
because
even out the difficulty.
you can't
of
deal with
the
afflicted at all,
affixes.
right?
Yeah, I hate that one.
No, you can't deal with it. Why do you hate it? You should love it.
No, I hate it because I won't get taken in a pug group when it's a necessity to have a certain class that deals with it. I hate that conceptually. That
Well-
like
I hate
these
it-
classes can deal with it and these ones can't. It forces your hand on comp, and I don't like that.
I hate afflicted because knowing I have to deal with it, so
Yeah.
I have to stop DPSing to deal with it, and then someone's gonna be like, "I did more DPS than you."
I
Yeah.
don't mind there being something that it like the other one. What's the other one?
Wait, is it incorporate? Sorry, let's not. There's the dispel one and there's the CC one.
Which
So,
one's which?
so I
Afflicted.
Afflicted is
Afflicted is the
CC.
spell.
Oh, is it? Okay. Is that was it? This week is Afflicted, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So Afflicted is the spell.
I like the one that everybody can deal with.
Yeah, but not everyone can always deal with it.
Not everyone can deal with it. What can a warrior do?
They can't deal with it. Yeah, warriors are the only ones. Warriors are the only ones that sucks for them.
And if say if they're both in melee, you can't do anything about it.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
No, hold on. But that's something that we can work out together. Because if 4 other people can deal with it, I'm telling you, I can handle every single one that's outside of melee. Why can't the other 4 people handle the ones in melee?
Yeah, as long as you're not channeling.
Because we're expecting you to do it. Because you have
clearly communicate to you that I can't handle.
Yeah, but if we're all in melee anyway, they're gonna be in melee with us.
Yeah, but there's 4 people who can deal with it that aren't me. When I'm dealing with it in every pack.
But the problem is there is someone now that can say, I can't deal with this. I can DPS, and I can tote over at the end of it. I've done more DPS than you.
I would not do that. I far prefer... No, when do I ever post a meter? I'm not a meter poster.
Oh, you take a little cell phone picture of your screen.
Only defensively.
Can I call the jury to recall how many times has she shown that picture where I lost by 40 million?
Yeah, that was her.
Because I only do it defensively, Frank.
She made 40 million the carry cutoff.
She drew that line.
No, but it's like I think in a real a serious.
I'm going to rename this podcast "Gaslighting."
So if we're catfighting or whatever, it's not a serious key. It's about getting the numbers or whatever. If we're doing a serious key, we're trying to push or whatever. Everybody should be helping out.
So are you pushing with because again? So this is the world we live in. The rest of us, right? It's pugging versus what we'll call E-team.
Yeah.
When we're together, and I want to go on a tangent in a second about shot calling, but when we're together, it's an entirely different dynamic. Because to your point, Scrap, even if you were on your warrior, the 4 other people can deal with it. You shouldn't have to worry about it. There's 4 people who are, right?
I don't like that some classes can't deal with it.
I agree.
Some can't either.
Yeah.
If we look at the comp that I posted for season 4 for us, so
let's recap what it is. It's Prop Pally, Holy Pally, Warlock, what was DK,
Unholy DK,
and Beastmaster, right?
Yeah, that's a sick comp. That's a legendary comp.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the affixes that go along with the comp.
No, but I think affixes.
2 paladins can handle everything.
No, because I have to use a dispel on the ghost, and then if I need to do a dungeon where I need to dispel a tank every 8 seconds, I'm screwed.
Well, you wouldn't have to because I dispel myself or the healer.
I was gonna say also that you communicate that it's like, hey, I'm gonna need my dispel. Like in pugs, I see people communicating like I can't dispel on this pack because
how often do you see people communicating? Because in my experience, it's like 1%.
I've seen it. I don't know. I don't know how many people have done in that week.
on Afflicted week, I think the only people that can handle it are the tank and the healer, because none of the DPS can handle Afflicted in that comp.
In our comp.
Right.
No, Shawnee could.
Right.
Oh yeah, sorry. You're not.
You're playing Holy. You're playing Holy.
Warlock can't.
Warlock can't do anything with Afflicted. Hunter can't do anything with Afflicted.
Evokers could, but we don't have one.
No Evoker.
No, and BM Hunters.
Well, you can't have
monks could.
Warlock.
Yeah,
monks can. They can detox.
Yeah.
Well, look what you did, Blizzard. We just have to take a week off.
No, but that's the point. That's the point, right? Like, so okay. This week,
I think it's horseshit.
This week, right, has been very challenging. Not because the keys are hard, but because I'm just doing 20s this week. I don't want to deal with any of the headache. I just don't want to burn out myself like that. But I'm in keys where the healer's just not even paying attention to their own afflicted. Like, I'm more than happy to help out, but they're not even paying attention at all. And it kills the tyrannical boss that's just going to murder us. And so, like, of course, we're talking about, like, the high end of, like, this is a problem, we need to fix it. But, like, look at Raging. So if you go
Raging's also horseshit.
Yeah.
Only a handful of people can deal with it.
So, okay, let's go and start. So, horseshit. So, Afflicted and Incorporeal are horseshit.
I would say the lowest tier of affixes are ones that only a few people can deal with. That is terrible game design, in my opinion.
And then Raging's bullshit. Bolstering.
I like bolstering.
Sorry, bolstering. Bolstering's this week.
I like bolstering, and I like the other one.
Scrap. So I want to give you an example.
Bolstering.
I want to give you an example. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We are in Everbloom.
Yeah.
The flowers bolster.
Yep.
You destroy them. You wildfire bomb all over them, right?
But bolstering fades.
And then that
also.
guy,
So if you
yes,
make a
yes, it
mistake,
does. It does.
Yeah.
But then that one little guy that jumps into the group in whirlwinds, the berserker, whatever his name is,
Berserker, yeah.
he immediately one-shots you because he's bolstered 8 times, right? That to me, like, you can't, unless you
you don't have to pull the flowers with that guy. Ever.
No, but you do to be able to start timing, right?
Well, I'm
do.
just saying you may need to
You argue-
readjust.
Yeah, you
route,
could argue
like
that
rolling
you
pull or something.
but then
then you got a hunter who pulls shit automatically.
I like
In pugs,
affixes
by the
that
way.
have the potential to affect the route. Because like the whole point of affixes is that you're not doing the same dungeon every week, even though you are. Like they bring enough variety that it feels different every week.
Sure, but different from the dungeon or different from the challenge?
Both, but especially
the dungeon route barely changes. They don't, like, none of them change because, like, if anything,
I don't
Inspiring was the one that changed it.
Yeah, Inspiring was good. I like things that have the potential to change it. Like, yeah, for example, like having bolstering makes you have to pull the flowers differently. Having sanguine,
but they don't. No one does though.
Differently.
That's the thing.
When we did it with Randall, we had to. That was for
1%.
Like
the 1% person who's doing it.
No, we were doing it at like a 24 when you actually have to like.
No, but what I'm saying though is that like only 1% of people are actually doing that. Randall is your only example there, where I could say no one else is. Right? The routes aren't changing because, like, even like you remember back in Shadowlands, I'd always be talking about like this is the route for this week and all that, and even then they didn't change that much. But like Inspiring's gone, which would redirect your route a little bit. And then the seasonal affixes would redirect your route, but we'll get to that later.
I like the seasonal ones.
Yes, but like volcanic or entangling or bursting maybe, but not bolstering, not raging. They're not changing your route, if at all. And so it's not really making the dungeon feel any fresher. It's just making the challenges feel different. And then that comes back to this balance problem of some of them are free and some are not. And so that's where I'm like, okay, that's the problem. And you can balance all you want. No, but look at it. They balanced bolstering very heavily because they took out the health
balance to bolstering.
But it's still
that it fades because it didn't used to fade, remember?
Well, it also bolstered their health. So they would get like a ton more health.
Yeah.
And they'd be not impossible to kill, but like 10 minutes longer to kill. And
I think
yes, that was a huge quality of life change.
Not gotten rid of that, but that's my opinion.
Anyway,
so you want to? Do you want to
opinion on this?
Yeah, well, you want to widen the gap more, Lithium.
Move on,
please.
No, I'm just saying. I think that affixes should be more impactful, and I think they're kind of impactful right now.
All right.
I think that some of them are just annoying and things you have to deal with. Things like sanguine. So when I tank, they're annoying and they're frustrating. The one that I hate the most when I'm DPSing is Spiteful because they have arms. They have arms that extend like 800 yards and they smack me really hard.
Or there's 60 items in the pool and you're like, wait, what the hell's hitting me?
Yeah. But most of them are just annoyances that I wish there was something that you can do that would change the way the key functions, but most of them are just annoying and you still run the route the same way. You still do the same stuff. You just know you have to deal with this extra thing that's going to be mildly frustrating. The thing with the classes that can't deal with certain affixes does kind of bother me because it does push a certain comp for that week, which isn't. I don't like that either. But aside from that, I think I echo most of what everyone else is saying.
Okay,
so you agree with me then?
Let's wrap this point then. Okay, what are the affixes that you would keep from the chopping block? That make let me actually frame it this way. What are the affixes that make the game more fun?
None of them.
Well, none of them make it more fun.
Honestly,
I think
I would get rid of every affix and just have
play the same dungeon every week.
So it is.
We already are.
I get rid of all
like
of them
that.
and just keep the time, or I would just go back to some form of a seasonal affix instead of all these little ones. Just like one.
Well,
affix.
you'll. That was a good transition to our next topic, but we're not ready yet.
Oh my god, we're gonna have to do that next week.
Let me ask you this though. One tangent. Do you guys believe that instead of doing timed keys where you have to build it or lose it depending on whether you succeed or not, wouldn't it be better if it was like the way that the tournament realm is, where you can build your own key and that would be how you get score? Like you had to do it in all different variations of the key and you got to decide what that looked like each time. So that way if you fail a key, it's not a big deal. You just, all right, let's go try it again.
No, I don't like that. Because you would blow through everything in the first 3 weeks.
Is that necessarily a bad thing?
Don't think
Well, you wouldn't play it
everything in
for
first
the
3
other
weeks.
3 months.
I think you would if you're trying to keep, like, if you're
It's
trying to
not like
constantly
I'm already
push.
done playing it.
Yeah. I don't know. Lithium, what do you think?
I don't. What do I think about what?
About the idea of building your key yourself. Like you decide, okay, I want to do a 24 with bolstering, with incorporeal, whatever.
I think what would be more interesting. Well, no, maybe not. Like if you got keys with random affixes, and so you
can get screwed though and have one that's so difficult.
That's what I like about it too, is that like you can choose your own path to say, okay, today I want to do the really hard one.
There's never a day I want to do the really hard.
Yeah.
No. Look at it more from the perspective of like building your score, right? Because obviously, like no one will want to do the hard ones, but if we ran to 3,000, I want to get to 3K, I want to get to top 1%, whatever. I will sit there and say, okay, well, I'm gonna have to do this rise on tyrannical, on incorporeal, whatever, and that will allow me to say, okay, well, I'm feeling like I'm playing really well right now. Let's go after that key now, and we could decide our fate, as opposed to all 4 of us getting a dark heart thicket, and we're like, no, we have a 24 in that, we don't need that anymore. And then now we're just sitting there going like, well, we got to go do it to get it done. Like,
well, you can re-roll it and stuff too.
Sure, but you have to complete a dungeon to re-roll it.
I think that's worse for the game because like you have to do more dungeons currently.
Okay.
Like they want you to play the game more.
All right.
Not just like play it the way you want it and then be done with it.
I'd be okay with making my own key if I made it harder and put like a third affix, I get more score.
I like the idea of being able to make your own keys as like a practice thing where like you could maybe get gold or something, but like it should be a different bracket.
To Shani's point though, don't you think that the idea of like, what if you assigned a score point to every affix? So like, Volcanic's 2 points, but Incorporeal's 10.
Yeah, I love that. Like, but keep it the same, just add extra points for harder weeks.
So you wouldn't still build the key?
No. I like the randomness.
Okay. Any other topics on that before we jump into our final seasonal fix?
Yeah.
All right. Scrap, you can go and kick us off about seasonal fixes. What are your thoughts on them first?
I think objectively seasonal affixes are the only ones that people like because it's like it's difficult, but it also gives you a big buff, and that's the kind of direction they need to be
kiss
pushed
curse.
in. Yeah. So I think that's the direction they need to push in for all affixes, is that they should have some like fun part to them, as opposed to just like what Shani's saying is like, oh, I just don't like any of them because they're all like working against me.
What's the seasonal affix this season?
No seasonal affix this season, Lithium.
So okay, let's go through. I know we've all played together since Shadowlands, but I know some of you have played into BFA because the seasonal fixes only started in BFA.
Yeah.
What makes a fun seasonal fix?
I think like scrap set, like one that definitely it rewards you. I'm okay that they're there. I mean,
all the seasonal affixes rewarded you, right?
No,
Yeah.
Unless you like on Thundering, unless you did it wrong.
Beguiling or whatever, that one with
Yeah.
the Night Elves.
Yeah.
That one didn't reward you.
I guess
Wamsamdi's one didn't reward you, I don't think.
Oh, but that one was so fun.
So
I
what makes them fun?
It's so fun when half the dungeon comes and kills you. Like the anticipation of it happening was fun, I remember.
What else, Shawnee?
I really liked the one with the 3 dudes you had to kill.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Or,
That
whoa!
was great. That's
I
one of the
loved that
best
season.
ones because it was different every week also. Like they were in different spots, right?
Yeah.
So there would be different routes for different randomness.
But were they really that random?
Because
Because they would like have the same
No,
2 or 3
but
rotations.
they were more random than any other affix.
Yes, I agree.
ever.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
I
that's
liked
the
it too
direction they
because
should move in.
it would allow you to like say certain dungeons are like you had to bring a rogue to stealth pass stuff or use a pot, and then you get the stealth thing. It's like, oh, we don't have to use a pot or a rogue for this. And
Yep,
like
and
it
yeah, it's cool.
helped.
That was
It
more
was cool.
prevalent though back then. Like it's not so much prevalent now. There's not too much.
No,
skipping.
they don't have dungeons design isn't as. I don't like them as much now, but that's neither.
It's not as choose your own adventure anymore.
No, it's definitely not. It's very find them all super straightforward.
Well, genuinely, the seasonal fixes in Shadowlands, like Prideful, also had you choose your own adventure a little bit more because you're like, okay,
a little bit more, yeah.
Yeah, but there's like multiple viable routes for multiple dungeons.
I like the idea too that you could skip. Prideful is one you could skip one, right? Because like it would give you a debuff if you skipped it, but
yeah, you could skip the last one because you could finish the last boss and then do the last percent and then you wouldn't get it. The last
or something, yeah.
Well, there was also the ones where season 2 of Shadowlands where you had the 4 generals, and if you didn't kill them by the time you got to the boss, you'd have a debuff on the boss, but it could save you time.
Yeah, that one was great too.
Because you had to gauge the debuff versus like what one was like it just slowed you down some. We're like, well, we're not going to move anyway.
All right, Lithian, what was your favorite seasonal fix? By the way, I'm almost certain Lithian's playing a game while he's on this with us.
He's dragon flying. Every
time I call him, it's like he's in class. He goes, "Let me close this window real quick."
Yeah.
No. I don't like the seasonal affixes. I'm glad that we don't have one this season. They like Prideful was interesting because you had to adjust your route depending on your percentage because that's when Prideful would pop up. And the 3 lower and I can never remember. Is that what the last one was? Yeah, that one was good.
Oh no, that's the general. Sorry, it's different.
If somebody was overdoing it with the AOE DPS, they can get the wrong one and make everybody angry.
Yeah,
that happened a lot.
Right, that was so fun.
The thing I enjoyed the chaos of Thundering when it first came out, and everyone's trying to figure out who to run to. But it's just like the other affixes to me. It's just something. It's just not. I don't get super excited about it. I just deal with it.
Would you rather have a seasonal affix and no other affixes, or all the affixes and no seasonal?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Well, that's actually the question I want to pose to all of you. So,
sorry.
If the seasonal affix is something that is, here's the thing. I like random. I like random. I like the anticipation of something happening without a time. I like the empowerment of doing it correctly. If it's something like that, then I'd rather have that than all the other affixes.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of where I sit.
What about you, Shani?
I'd prefer a good seasonal fix to all the little other ones.
Yeah, especially when the seasonal fix can make it chaotic within the other ones, like storming knocks you out of whatever, trying to get to the person to drop your thundering.
The point of the affixes is that you don't have to do the same dungeon every week. And if they just add a seasonal affix to it, it's like, especially with like the way they've done this. Well, the way they've done Dragonflight is that we haven't repeated any dungeons yet per season. So it's
which was the reason why the seasonal fix existed in the first place.
Yeah. Okay, so we don't necessarily need a seasonal fix. Like, I like the having every week be 2 different ones, because it keeps it fresh and interesting. Like, you get combos that you don't realize are going to be a problem until you're like in the dungeon. But the current like grab bag affixes, I don't know what you want to call them, the little ones, none of them are as well designed as any of the seasonal affixes. Like, the seasonal affixes themselves are so much better than any of the other ones. So if they could figure out a way to redesign them to be more like a seasonal affix, then that would be easy.
You want multiple seasonal affixes?
Well, okay, so Scrap, this is interesting because you are the one. I agree with the other two. I believe that nix all the other fixes, get rid of Tyrannical Fortified, get rid of all the volcanic, and just make a really good seasonal fixed. Because the thing is like, imagine Throne of the Tides, right?
Yeah.
You see Throne of the Tides with a really good seasonal fix that makes it wild and crazy. Next time we see that in a rotation 2 years from now, it'll be an entirely different experience because...
I don't want 2 years from now. I need it to be different in a week. or I'm gonna be bored.
No.
'cause have
Hold on. I agree.
ADHD.
I agree with that. But we're gonna talk about what would you do if you could build your own. So since you're the one that disagrees with us, I will then open the floor to you to tell us about your homework. What's the one seasonal fix that you would build if you were in charge of the devs right now?
Okay, I gotta explain it.
What are you naming it to?
It's gonna be called swarming.
Swarming. Okay. Which
That's not one yet, right?
I don't.
No.
I don't think so.
Okay. So basically, it would be like in 4
Did you have a
random...
diagram, by the way? You told me you were gonna have a diagram.
No, I said I was gonna do it, and then I
Okay.
played Final Fantasy instead.
Fair enough. I'll just play Final Fantasy on loop on YouTube.
Okay. So in 4 random packs throughout the dungeon, roughly spaced apart, like every 25%, but random every week, there will be one mob that is visually different, like it'll be purple or something, or larger, like the same way they did Inspiring, that when you kill it, it explodes into like 20 bees or something, or whatever. 20 of something.
What's the theme
is.
here, Scrap?
I know it depends on the story. It could be
month.
anything. In my head, it's like bees, but it could be like little.
Well, think of season 4 Dragonflight. Think of what's happened already.
I don't know what the plot is. Like
yeah,
it's
you're true.
bees.
You've proven that already.
Bees. It's some sort of little thing that there's like 20 of. And they like despawn after like 10 seconds, and the more you kill, the more stacking versatility buff you get. So you
forever,
don't know,
like unlimited.
No, it's gonna have a time on it, like a minute. How long is the Prideful buff?
Prideful was 40 seconds, I think.
40 seconds. That's perfect. So what I think would be cool about it is that like it's different every week which ad has it. So your route might change every week, where it's like we really need that buff for the boss, so we might need to skip past this, or we might need to take that mob into the boss, or like we have to make
all
sure.
Over, so we're dealing with it.
Well, yeah. Well, we might not be able to take it into the boss because the bees are too chaotic or something, or like we might need to CC that one so we don't kill it during this pack and waste our buff on this pack or something, so they gets killed last. So it would bring variety to each week. And then also killing a lot of tiny things is really fun. You save your AoE for that and stuff, and it's like maybe some of them could get away, maybe you don't kill as many as you could, like, so there's some like skill required to it, and you get to blow all your fun AoEs. It's gonna be fun.
I mean, that Mythic Plus feels great, like best when you're blowing things up like that.
Obviously, yeah. So it would be like a swarm of something. You have to kill as many as you can.
But do you believe that would change routes or anything like that drastically?
I would hope it would. What I would do is that, like, I'm picturing like before the first boss, like if there's 4 bosses in each dungeon, let's say roughly, that there would always be one before each boss, but not like directly before. So, maybe you could even like get 2 of the ads or something. Like if somebody CCs one and then somebody runs back and breaks it out, so you can stack bees or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I think what affixes need is stuff like Inspiring, where every week it was different, because it posed a different challenge every week.
But Inspiring wasn't different. It was just on a 3-week cycle.
Yeah, so it could be on maybe a 4-week cycle.
Sure.
It doesn't have to be so different, because if it's so different, it's like, okay, the first pack has the bees. It's like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do with that? Like, it's going to be planned, but with variance is my idea.
Cool. All right. Anyone want to go next? I'm saving mine for last.
Scrap stole my idea.
No, I didn't.
Lithian not doing his homework.
He didn't do his homework.
I want something super insane. Like, you go in, like, you can't use like weak auras or anything extra. It's just like,
Or you have to play Battleship.
There's a lot of talk around private auras right now, so you're gonna be careful with this one, because you might get our ire from the community.
That's fine. I really want it to go in and like you have to know how to play. No add-ons at all.
Johnny, what if there was an affix that was like Mario Kart, where it covers your screen like the
splat? Yeah.
The splat.
or lightning, wherever gets shrunk, and if you step on someone, you squash them.
There should be a blue shell. Whoever's in the lead for DPS gets stunned.
I would love it if it just went in and just like you couldn't use any add-ons.
Wouldn't it be great if it was like every so often randomly your UI just shut off?
They just went out. Yeah, you can see your like regular bar, but everything else just shuts down.
No, I think the whole UI should shut off, because we had a lot of fun MDL fights like that.
What are you naming this, by the way, Shawnee?
Chaos.
Okay.
I honestly that would be if I had to pick some. I just want like a decent season fix with not the rest of the crap. But I don't like WoW and stuff was. I find all the dungeons are super linear, and I don't find that there's any way to really change routes a ton in them as it is. So
Cool.
Yeah,
But do you think that would change routes?
I don't think it would, but I'm like, I just want chaos, really,
Okay.
because I need
Yeah.
something.
I think like
Yeah.
on the surface we all agree like that would be fun, but at the same time, like logistically, how do you pull that off?
Yeah, I understand.
I mean,
I
I didn't create an affix, but what I would want to talk about are the qualities of a good affix, right? Where it's random, it creates a bit of chaos, like Thundering did at first, where people have to do something. Killing a swarm of bees, that's fine. That's just normally what you do anyway. I'd rather have something unique where you have an accountability to do something, and if you don't do it, you get punished. If you do it, you get a reward, right?
I think it's easy to say that your thing is something unique that no one's ever thought of before, but you didn't think of it.
No, I'm saying that these are the qualities that I would enjoy out of a seasonal affix, right? Like I want something that's gonna make the game a little bit different, maybe enough to adjust a route here or there, but keeping it randomized makes the entire group stay on their toes, which, like, I don't want all the onus to be on the tank or on the healer or on the DPS. I want it to be a group activity, right? It can't be everything falls on the tank to adjust the route, or everything falls on the tank to do something, because that's what it always is.
Hey, Lithium, what if they put the bosses just randomly in different places?
Just patrolling through the dungeon.
Like they're just like, no,
That'd be
like,
so
you have no
much.
choice, like,
I'm
you
writing
go
that down
in
for a
and you're,
note.
like,
Patrolling.
Wait, weren't they talking about like an imposter affix, or was that one of the affixes? I can't remember.
No. Like,
No,
what
I
if
don't think so.
what if you went in Everbloom and the first boss just wasn't there, and you're like, what the crap? Where is he
And
this
then he
time?
like jumps on you when you're
Going.
not
And then he's like
expecting it.
halfway through something where, like, you know, they randomly put him everywhere, and sometimes like, oh, you got to pull through extra percent, even if you don't
Or-
want to, because the bosses
what-
are behind. Like all four of them are like back to back to back.
What if they drop the treasure goblin into the Mythic Plus dungeons, and you had to kill?
No, that would
Right?
kill. Everyone would ignore it because they'd just be like, no, that it just walked into that 40 pack.
And if you
No, you'd have to.
if you don't do
You
it,
get no loot.
You
At the
get
end.
debuff.
no loot. you get like something bad happens, right? Detrimental to the group, but something like that where
All right.
it's just fun.
So Lithium, I
Random.
want to echo because I agree with you a lot of, and honestly, it's Shawnee too, and all that. But so I've made I made an affix. No, because scrap terrible takes. But
I have made the best affix so far.
no, wait until you hear
Yours
mine.
is a
Okay,
name
wait
and
until
a
you hear mine. Here's
theme
mine.
and-
Here's mine. Okay. Season 4, the final season of Dragonflight. My affix is called Homecoming. Okay.
All right.
All the pillars from the Dragonflights that we spent, the first season, whatever, trying to reactivate are now fully active because they've gotten their powers
the
back.
MacGuffins.
Yeah, the MacGuffins, right? So they will be, all 5 of them will be located throughout the dungeons. Now, they will stay stagnant for 4 weeks at a time, right? To give us, a little time to figure out routes and, okay, like now I feel like this is the best route. And then they'll change completely. But for me, one of the best affixes was the I think it was season 4 of Battle for Azeroth, where you had the pillars of the 4 lieutenants from the old gods, and you could use them to create portals between packs of trash.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, you could like
that was
go
one of the best because you
invisible basically.
Yeah.
Yes.
and you could change your routes to your heart's content. Like it completely flipped the script on routing. So each one would have its own special thing, okay? Now, I don't have something for all of them fully fleshed out, but like, for example, the green Dragonflight. So each one of them would have a little whelpling next to it. And when you activated the pillar, you'd get something for a little while. So for like the green whelpling, the healer would be buffed in a way that maybe they kind of get like the same thing Dis does, where none of their healing needs to be done. They just DPS, and every time they DPS, they're healing, right? So they get to have a little more fun in their dungeon and do something differently just to shake things up for them for a little while. The blue Dragonflight would be a dragon that you guys have to feed. I don't know if they're carnivores, but meat too, right? Like something, you just feed something. So every time you guys kill a mob while you have it, you can feed it. And whoever is the tender of that dragon or the whelpling gets a buff to their DPS as long as you can keep it fed. And once it's
Oh
not,
god, that's gonna be toxic.
well, and again, so like, and maybe everyone gets it. Like as long as you're feeding one, everyone gets the buff something, right?
I
Like
like the idea of one person gets it. I think
Hey,
that's
Scrap,
hilarious.
for
But, like-
100k per dungeon, I'll let you have a blue dragon.
You're gonna
like-
have to fight me
but,
for
like,
it.
the
'cause I
thing
bet
that
I
would
can
be
do it
more
before you
toxic-
can.
the thing that would be
Yeah.
more toxic is the person who's holding the dragon can't feed it. So everyone else has
Someone
to
has to hold it.
everyone else has to go and get the food. Like, like let's say you're on a 10
Sounds
mob
like a
pull.
bit fetishy, like somebody holding the
All-
dragon
all
down
the-
and someone feeding
All
it.
the mobs die and all drop a piece of meat, right? And
Gosh.
only way that you can get it to the whelpling is all the other 4 people have to run over it and run to the whelpling, right? So that would be the DPS one. The Black Dragonflight would be the tank one, but instead of giving just the tank one buff, what it would do is give everyone in the party one-time use. Anytime you use it, or you can use it anytime you want. You just can only use it once. Kind of like a divine shield, so you get like a little shield on you that nothing hits you for 12 seconds or whatever. And so that would also mean strategy behind how do we make a really big pool where nothing's going to hurt me for this long, so I can do X, Y, and Z. The red dragonfly, I just couldn't think of a good one, but I just thought like you get to choose one mob where dragon flies over and breathes fire on it. But the bronze dragonflight would be that you would open a portal as soon as you activate the whelpling, and you can move to anywhere in the dungeon. Like time would stop. You would move anywhere you want in the dungeon and create another portal to be able to teleport to, allowing you to rewrite the route whenever you want, right? So not only does this allow for the DPS fun, the healing fun, the tank fun, but it also gives you a portal, just like they fixed it in Battle for Azeroth, where you can create a shortcut as long as you want, right? Like you go from one side of a Tall Desire to the other, or you could go from Everbloom, third boss back to the first boss. That would allow you to create an entirely new route. The pillars would change after 4 weeks, so that like you would have to rewrite your entire route after a month. This would allow people to use their creativity more. This will allow people to rethink, like, how do we do this big pull? How do we, have fun with the blue dragon? How do we, let the healer do something crazy and do mad amount of HPS while they're doing damage as well, and their meters shoot up, whatever. And like obviously the dungeons would have to be buffed to make sure that it would balance a little bit better, that you're using these correctly, because since there's no curse. But I feel like that would be thematically amazing. I think it would have something for everyone. And the routing would change pretty drastically, because at first everyone would be figuring it out, and then once everyone figures out the perfect number, it changes again. So that's my thought.
I like it. I mean, I
Yeah.
think my favorite affix is the one with the 4 generals, and that's kind of like a similar energy.
Yeah.
So I think it works.
Frank, yours would have been more interesting if you would have drawn a diagram.
I was this
Try
close to getting just a picture of a whelpling sitting next to the pillar.
I was gonna draw mine on a napkin, but I got distracted.
No, you weren't. You were going to go into your iPad or whatever
I
and
was
start.
gonna go into Photoshop and Photoshop it onto a napkin.
Oh my god.
100% that was what I was gonna do, but I didn't.
Oh, so sad.
Shawnee, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like it.
Like, that to me encompasses all the things that are fun about a seasonal affix.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
And then on top of
Even
that,
the
the
fetishy part.
randomness. Why is it a fetish to feed a dragon? I don't understand.
You said you're
I
gonna
know.
hold it down and feed it.
No, I didn't say
No,
hold it
someone-
down. I said that one person can't feed it because they're, leashing
You said
the.
4 people are gonna hold it down and one person's
he
gonna
did
feed
not.
it.
I did not say that.
Exact
You said-
opposite.
I said they have to go get the food and bring it to it.
Oh,
I heard you said
Jesus.
you're gonna get 4 people to hold it down and one person to feed it. I'm like,
No.
that poor dragon.
No.
You're like one person shoving food down his throat.
In the middle of a
And
poll,
lots
by
of
the way, so
DPS
everyone's just like. So, anyways, that's my
Yeah.
idea. I want to really echo. I think that getting rid of the affixes, because they're not fun, most of them, if any of them. And on top of that, like, do you look forward to any affixes other than the fact that they're free? No, not really.
No.
No, but I would be bored without them, I think.
But again, if you had a really good seasonal affix, now in fairness, it's very hard to
No, because
always
it'd be
come
the
up with
same
something
every
new.
week.
No, but that scrap yours wasn't the same every week. That's the point.
I know it wouldn't be enough though. I think what's I think
So
the-
add
the
volcanic and see how it changes.
I think the variable difficulty from week to week is fun. That's my
Okay.
opinion.
But there's nothing's changing.
Yeah, they need to fix the affixes.
Listen,
to be
Shawnee,
better.
am I crazy? Is she making any sense?
No, I think the concept of affixes is great because it's like every week you get something random, something different. Some weeks it's difficult, some weeks it's easier, but they need to be more impactful.
I
because I feel like the ones that are most impactful are not fun at all.
They need to make impactful, fun ones. They can do it. Every seasonal affix has been impactful and fun. They just need to.
Do we all agree though they need to revamp the entire system?
Yeah.
They're gonna have to do something different because us old timers are getting bored.
True story. I wish. I mean, my biggest thing is like a lot of. I don't know. I find all the dungeons super linear. Like there is no freedom to change routes, really. It might be like, we pull this pack here instead of that pack.
Some of them are older, so as they bring back these old ones, they they didn't learn the lessons that they did from like other ones.
They could change them.
Yeah, so, I agree.
You know.
All right. Well, we've had fun. Yeah. It's episode 2.
Always.
What do you guys think? Should we do another one?
Yeah.
Yeah, a shorter one.
We can talk about how.
Well, we've spent so much time talking about your buff scrap that.
Look, if you give a topic, I'm gonna talk about it.
we know.
I
learned about me talking too much, and I can see Shawnee looking and be like, "Can I say something?"
Well, you get what you pay for.
I think we should talk about player housing next time and how amazing it would be.
Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do next time is, expansions coming. What are the key features you'd like to see?
Yeah.
And of course, we'll cover the news.
Oh my god, I have hot takes on that.
We can only imagine. Can we get like some? You know what? Can we get some kind of buzzer bell for when you and Scrap are just basically arguing?
But like, didn't they? Okay, you could end the podcast and I'll give an example of that because that happened on a podcast.
Oh, actually, here, can we talk about some drama real quick?
No,
real quick. It'll be 2 minutes. Come on, what do you want to run to the key? Come on. So there's huge drama right now out there because one of the only North American MDI style groups had a huge fight. Now, granted, it sounds like it's bigger than it really is, but
what did they have a fight? Like a fist fight?
No. Well, they're like quitting, right? Oh, I'm not playing with you ever again. And it's around the idea of it's around the idea of shot calling. Now, their argument is that the tank can't be doing the shot calling, and by shot calling, I mean like when do you use your stun now, you use your interrupt now, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
Because like they already have enough on their plate. The healer can't be doing it either because they have enough on their plate.
The tank doesn't do anything.
I kind of feel that way.
The only thing they do is shot call. Like that's their job.
And I like shot calling, but I also realized last season when I was like getting late into the season, I stopped doing it because I assumed you guys knew like you need to interrupt this, and you didn't.
No,
and
communication.
I did. I was listening to Max today.
The success of the key.
I agree, and I feel like I should have learned a lesson from that. But Max was talking about the fact that like the problem is that when you have someone shot calling, the second they stop shot calling, it's now their fault because you can assume everyone should know it, but you've trained them to wait for your call. But anyways, they had this huge fight. I think it was Ellesmere and Nerf, which is their tank, and
I don't know these nerds.
These are people. These are people who are like in Liquid and the high-end guilds. But anyways, I just wanted to get your thoughts on when do you think E-Team's going to have that big fight?
Well, it doesn't matter.
We have it every day.
I would say it doesn't matter what you're playing, Frank. You're always shot calling or yelling at us for not shot calling.
No, but the problem is that like when I'm on my mage, I'm post shot calling. I'm like, why didn't you do this? And I gotta stop.
I don't think it needs to be micromanaged. In the level of key we're in, it doesn't need to be micromanaged to a level that you need to in like a 30. Like we're one person, so everybody is working together and stuff. Like I can say I'm gonna kick this, and it's not gonna be overwritten in comms. Like if we all say we're gonna kick something, whereas like it's much more serious in a big key that one person is calling things.
No, because on Tyrannical and the second boss of Everbloom, you have to manage those kicks correctly, and if you're not kicking
but we would talk about that beforehand. Maybe.
If you're not stunning the spear throwers and throne, everyone's fucked.
In BFA, I ran with a team, and we had a designated kick rotation. So I would always kick first, so-and-so would always kick second, per other person would kick third. And it was consistent in every single dungeon and every single boss.
I always kick Moon.
No, you don't.
I worry about that because I've definitely we've been in keys where no one in particular, so no one feel bad about this, but people, me included, have said, I'm going to kick that or whatever, and I'm like, oh shit, my kick's down.
No, like, or I steal it from you. Because I'm on my prop paladin and just going crazy with shields.
Like, hey, I'm on a pally. He's like, Shawnee, I want you to kick this, and I go to kick it, and he's kicked it. Now my kick's down. He's like, we need someone to kick that. I'm like, I would have.
Yeah,
but
I wouldn't be mad at you for that though, because like my blind toll is just
shot calling.
at shock.
But no, I think
Yeah.
definitely. As
You mean ad hoc, or are you adding
No.
a?
This is the thing.
If Frank were to say, "Hey, I need you to kick that," and then he kicks it, and then says, "Okay, somebody kick this," and nobody has their kick on because we said we were going to kick, we said we were going to kick.
I see everyone's kicks. I don't sit there.
I said
saying,
if that happens, I didn't say it did happen. That would be bad shot calling.
Okay.
So I guess this is the thing for our group, and I have no problem throwing myself under this proverbial bus. We are good to a certain point, but yes, there is a point where we definitely need to fix how we communicate in a better way and get like a set thing.
But that's why I want to go back to taking on season 4.
Whether it's a kick rotation like Scrap said, or like better marker usage like Lithian's Always Moon or something. Like we do well to a point, but yes, we need to coordinate more to get past where we are, because when I look at it, like 3 of us, I'm not one of them, are at 3K, and they got a ton of that from pugging. So you're capable of it on your own. So why
or you're just struggling through it.
Or why aren't we all at 3K when we're together?
I had to pug my 3K because nobody likes me.
We weren't getting it together.
No, that's because you guys play in the middle of the day when other
Somehow
people are
Lithian has turned this podcast into a pity party.
No, but like I'm honestly, the 5 of us don't have 3K as a group. But if we can get it without a group,
largely because our schedules don't line up enough for us to do 10 keys a week.
Well, okay. Well, now we're going down a different
anyway,
point is, I just thought it was interesting that shot calling, which again we talked about, and it's the reason why I'm going to go back to Prop Pally, because I do want to do a better job of shot calling. Because like it drives me crazy as a healer. Like when I'm sitting there going, like, guys, please, like I can't heal and take care of this and call that, and
I can't wait to say that.
No, I mean I think
I won't expect it to be.
The extent of shot calling is like you should not be calling out people's defensives. Like that's the kind of thing that they need to manage themselves. But calling out kicks or CCs and things like that.
I'd argue that it's so much more as a healer, maybe like so much more important to shot call that, because you're like, I'm not going to be able to help you survive this. You need to deal with it.
The healer shot calling should be like, this is when I'm going to use my big cooldowns,
as opposed to telling you you're about to get crushing depths and you should use a cooldown or else you're going to die.
I think if you get crushing depths, you should know you should use a cooldown or you're going to die.
I'm shot calling the end of this podcast.
I've been shot calling that for an hour.
Oh yeah. Okay. All right. Anyways,
you guys keep bringing up hot takes I have to defend. So.
We'll see everyone next time.
How much shorter do you think this podcast would be if we had a buzzer for Scrap and Frank character?
And much more boring.
I'm gonna give you guys a buzzer. Next time.
Okay.
All right.
Take us out.
See y'all.
All right.
Okay. Bye.
Peace.